Place special, being listed year after year as one of the best places to raise a family. Maybe because we have a community recognized for its safe neighborhoods and revered for its low unemployment. A city where adventure is everywhere you look, where you can pioneer your own story. We've opened a new page to write on for the generations ahead. Welcome to Bismarck. Come write your story.
Good morning and welcome to 1 Million Cups. How are you guys doing today? How many of you were at our breakfast at First Western last week? There's some hands. If you weren't there, you should have been. There were like 70 of us up on the roof right over here, and it was a really super time. So I think that's something we're going to be doing again, doing an occasional breakfast. It's kind of a different way to get together, and a lot of networking happened, and we had some great food from By the Batch that First Western provided. So good time. All right, we'll start off today as National Watermelon Day. Seems appropriate with the weather, right? It would be a bummer to have that in like January or February or something, but so it is National Watermelon Day. I wanted to talk about the mug club too. If you guys have gotten mugged, good. But we've got just kind of a little teaser here. We've got some new swag coming for the mug club, and it's co-branded, and it's going to be cool. Probably not till this fall. So I'm going to let you just think about that. So happy National Watermelon Day. Guess no Marlowe today. Want to thank our sponsors, and we've got a couple of new sponsors on the board today. We got Fanatics, who was just on stage here not too long ago, and the Larks. They are supporting us in a number of ways now, which is fantastic. We couldn't hook up with better people than that. So thanks to all of these folks. So anybody new here today? Anybody that's never been? Oh, look at the hands. That's good. Welcome. Glad to have you. So we are a free weekly program. We put a local entrepreneur on stage. They tell their story, talk about their ups and their downs and their plans for the future, those sorts of things. And we get an opportunity at the end to ask some hard questions and give them some advice, some feedback, maybe share some contacts with them, and do what we can to support them. So the takeaway here is, can we change the face of our startup community by connecting over 1 million cups of coffee? And so we've been connecting over 1 million cups of coffee for about 8 years now, with your help. All right, so as I mentioned, at the end we're going to do Q&A. So I always ask people to start thinking about your questions when Jonathan's talking today. Start formulating those questions so that when Q&A happens, you've got them right there in the tip of your tongue. We'll have a mic runner to run this microphone mug around and let you ask your question. So that's really kind of the meat and potatoes of this thing is the Q&A part. That's where we really get some interesting interactions. So think about those questions ahead of time. All right, we also like to do community announcements. So I think we've got a few of them today. Did anybody come for this one? I didn't think we thought so. This is, I think Humanities, is presenting this August 25th at the Event Center. Looks kind of cool, actually. So any of this, we also live stream this on Facebook. So if there's anything that you miss, go to our Facebook page, spool it up real quick, look at our videos, and you'll be able to find any of this information if you don't catch it right now. All right, next. Oh, Janie, do you want to do this one?
Okay, remember, if you've been here before, you know that I talk about Yonder, because I love Yonder and it's really cool. And that's that app-driven, it's not really an app. It's not an app, but it's a technology-driven scavenger hunt to celebrate Bismarck's 150th, and they've been having them all over the place. Well, the last one I did was at Heritage River Landing, and I think I mentioned that here. But the cool thing is, they do a drawing afterwards, and I won $25. I was so I was just doing it for the fun of it, and now I'm in it for the bucks. So anyway, The next one is at the former governor's mansion, and it's combined with an ice cream social. So I highly encourage you to try it out. It's on August 14th. It's so much fun. You're running around with your phone, and it's kind of got this kind of warmer, colder sort of thing going on when you're looking for the things. It tells you how many feet away you are from the thing you're scavenging for. So. Haha.
Good morning. I am helping Minot Area Council on the Arts facilitate their ARP funding. So if any of you were familiar, the North Dakota Council on the Arts did something similar, but now the MACA, we call them, they're doing something that's like the exact same. So it's out of Minot, but it's for individual artists or nonprofits who have some kind of art programming, and you can get a grant to do cool things. So for individual artists, you create a project that helps get the community involved with art, introduces them to art, access to art. And then for organizations, it's for programming costs, kind of those overhead type things for ongoing programs. The application is due at the end of August. Let me give you some details. So for individual artists, you can get $1,000 to $5,000, and organizations can go $1,000 to $10,000, and you can cover costs between May 1st, so a little bit back in time, up through December 31st of this year. So it's for people all across North Dakota, so you don't just have to be from Minot, they're just the ones facilitating things. If you already received an NDCA ARP grant, you're still eligible. They're just giving funding priority to people who already haven't received those types of funds. But tell all your artsy friends and all your artsy organizations that this funding is out here. We want to see some cool projects. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else with an announcement this morning? There's a one announcement limit.
Even though it's National Watermelon Day, if you really use your imagination, you could pretend those zucchini that are up there are like really long, skinny watermelons, and they need good homes. They're homeless. So if you could please grab a zucchini on your way out, that would be awesome.
Thank you. All right. Anybody else? Any other produce that you want to get rid of? All right. All right. Well, without further ado, let's get on with it. We've got Jonathan Hooker today with the Spark Group, who is going to tell us a little bit more about what he's up to. So give it up for Jonathan.
Thank you, sir.
You bet.
Good morning, 1 Million Cups. I brought my cup of tea. I'm sorry I'm not with the cool crowd, but nice to be here. I'm actually a closet 1 Million Cupper. About the time I started here with 1 Million Cups, I landed a client that had meetings from like 8:30 till 10. So I watch it as much as I can, as much as I'm allowed to ignore my meetings, which isn't that much. But we do have fun. So who am I? Let's see. I am a father of 4. I moved back to the Bismarck area after living 6 years in the nice, warm area of Alabama called Birmingham. Beautiful city. Moved back to Bismarck. My wife dragged me. She's from here. Total joke. I really love being here. Fantastic people, fantastic weather most of the time. Anyway, so a little bit about the company. I've been in IT consulting for about 9 years. Did not realize that I'd be in IT consulting back when I started my career 20 years ago. But I did. I got into IT consulting, found out it's the perfect job for me. I don't know if you noticed, my last name's Hooker. I'm a consultant. People pay me for my services. So it's really fun when I go out with my sales team and remind them that they sell my services. So perfect job for me. A couple of interesting facts. North Dakota has a IT GDP of 17%. So 17% of North Dakota's GDP is technology. most of that's in Fargo and in Grand Forks, and I was kind of tired of seeing that. And so I was, and on top of that, I was really interested in building something with a mission. So I left a career of about 9 years in IT consulting with a large top 20 IT consulting firm in North America, and said, screw it, let's start something myself. And I did. And so we started Spark Group about 1.5 years ago. And the way I like to talk about it is Spark Group is an IT consulting firm with a mission. And our mission really is to uplift the Bismarck and western North Dakota, western part of North Dakota. I'll do eastern North Dakota eventually, maybe. But really uplift the western part of North Dakota with training, with skill sets that aren't necessarily as easily readily available that the larger industry outside of North Dakota is really interested in. So as we're looking at it, we started thinking about how do we build something that's sustainable? How do we build something that's going to stick around for a while? And so we started Spark Group as a consulting firm with a mission because consulting pays big bucks. So I'm all in it for the money. Not really. But our mission really is to grow and develop people and businesses in North Dakota with a specific focus on expanding our tech skills and our technology industry through excellence in 3 areas. First is service. Consulting services is really the bedrock. That's what allows me to do all the other stuff. Second area is training, and the third area is mentorship, and we'll talk about all 3. We're doing that, though, with 3 key values in mind. First one is trust. If you can't trust me to provide you good services, if you can't trust my team, which I have an awesome team sitting right there, if you can't trust our team to provide good services, you're not going to pay for me to do the other things. And so trust is a critical part. Trust between us and our clients, and then trust between us and our community. Service is the second thing. We're really all about providing excellence in service. We should be the premier folks to go to for the things we're good at. Don't come to us for things we're not good at. We won't be good at it. The third one is generosity. I really do believe in generosity. I believe that, on the one hand, what goes around comes around, but on another hand, I really don't care too much about that part of it. I'm really interested in making our community an exciting and better place to live and work through the use of technology and through the integration of technology into entrepreneurial startups and into a lot of what you all are doing here. So I'll hit these lightly. You guys don't care about my tech chops too much, but our tech side is all about automation. So in a recession, it's great because people want to do more with less, people, and then they also want to, they kind of are trying to reduce costs everywhere they can. So automation is great for recession proofing. Flip side is in a really high economy where things are growing, automation's fantastic because people want to do things faster. So pick something. My primary focus is on clients in consulting that are Fortune 2000 and up. Generally speaking, clients that have at a minimum, a $10 million a year IT run rate. That's generally who's most interested in the things we have to offer. And so with my background in IT consulting, that has given me a fantastic network of people who I've built trust with over the years, who know me as someone who they can trust to provide services in these areas. And so I've been calling them and having them help introduce me to their clients. Anyway, so training is our next area. And so this is kind of starting to build towards really the passion of our business. And so Spark Group is really, we start with a foundation that pays the bills, but then we start building on that, using that money to do stuff for the community and actually to better some of our businesses around the area. And so that's really where we're starting to build training for business planning, finances, product development, tech, all sorts of tech. Our first training class, my guy there, Caleb, he's just about to used me as a guinea pig on his first beta of one of his training classes for JavaScript. So that's a tech, but we'll be building out in all 4 of those areas, and our interest is in really helping the entrepreneur have access to cheap, inexpensive training. Flip side is that this is also I'm an opportunist, so this is also a great way to most of these trainings translate over into business, and so I can totally sell those. And training is beautifully lucrative. So I want to reinvest it. Don't worry. Anyways, so really our goal is to spark ideas. That's kind of where the name Spark Group came from. I want to spark ideas in our clients and help them become a little entrepreneurial. Fortune 1000s, it's a little harder to do than a single person, as you can well imagine. But we also want to do that with individuals around this area. So the big businesses outside of the state, the small, the individuals, which really I think are the biggest benefit to our area and ultimately to the business. If I was successful at the end of this business, it would be the individuals who succeeded. So mentorship is the third one, and this is really where it gets a lot of fun, which is why I decided it's time for me to come up here and talk about it. So we build the training, we build the services, we have an IT consulting group, which means that we have consultants who know something, hopefully, and then we build into what we're calling the Innovation Barn. The Innovation Barn is a co-working space, but really it's built around a training room. And if I didn't have that training room, I really wouldn't have a shared workspace. I'm super opportunistic. So I needed the training room and said, hey, I need some square footage for that, and might as well put something else in there that makes some money. Sorry, I'm on low sleep today, and when I get on low sleep today, my filters turn down. So really what we're doing with the Innovation Barn, it's a workspace that really my goal is to draw you, the innovators in the area in, and also to build up a larger innovation community. So a larger group of people who are trying to, figure out and work through an idea and solve that idea. And surrounding that, we want to support the entrepreneur with our consulting staff that would be available. Within reason, I can't just take them entirely off their consulting projects, but I do want them available to you. All the training is actually being offered by our consultants. It's not being offered by a random trainer. So we really want to make sure that as we build up this IT consulting group, but we're also thinking about how do we take that knowledge that may not be in North Dakota initially and bring it into North Dakota. And that's really how we're kind of building out this shared workspace. And so really it's the hub of our training and mentorship capabilities. And ultimately, long-term vision here is I really want to become an incubator for your ideas, an incubator for your businesses, and really become a space where you can not just get some training, but actually find the support you need to ultimately launch your business into, the next, wherever you want to go. This is not just me, though. I am looking for partners in this, too. I don't think I need to be a solo person in helping get startups off the ground. So I've already made some contacts in the area to some investors who are looking for good businesses. And so part of my goal here is to make sure that you build a business plan and build a business model that is something that is investable if that's the path you want to go down. And so that's really, long term, I think that's going to be where we see the biggest benefit. If we're successful in this, I think our biggest benefit is when we invest in the local startups, in the local people who have a great idea and want to turn it into something, whether that's in technology or not. So we're not going to be just tied to that one vertical. So Innovation Barn, that's the building. It is on the north side of Mandan. right off the freeway. They're off of right near Old Red Trail. If you know where Bennigan's is, or if you know where Arby's is over in Mandan, we're just right behind there. It's in the process of being built out. We're expecting to be open October. We're moving pretty quick. I was just over there yesterday, and yeah, there's plumbing and electrical, and we're about to close up walls and actually start getting finishing touches put in. So that's really exciting. So progress, and we should be in there pretty quick. So what are we going to provide here? So starting with, you've got the traditional memberships. Those will be kind of your normal daily, monthly. We'll have 2 levels of monthly, which give you different access during different times of the day. You know, one is like 8 to 5 or 8 to 4 or 8 to 6 or something in that nature, and the other one will be 24/7. And then finally, we have furnished offices upstairs. So as you build a business, one of the things you oftentimes find is you need that dedicated space to be able to focus. One of the limiting factors I found when I was starting was there wasn't a lot of that type of stuff available to us. And so there wasn't, yes, I could go find somewhere that I could lease 1,700 square feet of whatever office space, or 500 or 800, but I had to furnish it. I had to cover internet costs. I had to go figure out all the other things that I didn't want to think about. And so that's going to already be taken care of. So we'll have a desk, we'll have a phone, we'll have everything you need save your laptop. And so mailbox services, all of that. We'll have rentals, conference room rentals, the training room, talked about that. Mailboxes, that's also something I've traveled around to a lot of shared workspaces. The best ones had mailboxes because I could mail stuff in and out for business events and whatever. And so we're going to have mailboxes up there. That's also the only place that'll actually have mailboxes on the north side of Mandan. So useful little tidbit. Finally, a few additional services: business, product development, technical training. We kind of hit on all of those. And then copy and print services, something else that was just an easy little ad that I think really makes the space kind of more complete. If you can come in and say, hey, listen, I've got a presentation, or I've got, I want to send out a mailer, or I want to do X, Y, or Z from a printing perspective, we'll have that capability there. So it's good stuff. So, all right, location. We hit on the location, Northwest Mandan. I say 3,000 square feet because officially on the product sheet I purchased 3,000 feet, but the funny thing is it's a 30 by 60 space, so if you actually do the math, that's actually 3,800 square feet. What it is, I don't know. It's big. So when built out, shared working space, it'll seat about 30 downstairs. Training room with 15 or 20, conference room 8 to 10 comfortably. It's actually pretty big. Honestly, I could probably squeeze in about 15 people in there if I really wanted to. I don't want to. 4 furnished offices and 1 copy room. So that's kind of what we're offering. It's getting exciting. So what's our 5-year plan? Year 1, we're opening this year. We're going to have to hire 2 to 3 staff to manage the space. I do not want to be down up front shaking your hand all the time. I like y'all, but I have other things to do. First training offering, we're going to be offering, you heard me say it, JavaScript. So we're going to start with that. We plan on offering a couple of trainings. My goal is to get to probably 1 free training a month that anyone can come to, and then from there have additional trainings that we can offer kind of on an ongoing basis at cost. So I don't want to make money off of the training we offer here in Mandan. I really do want to make this something where this is affordable and economical for anyone coming in, and so we're really going to do it at cost. And then if I can, my goal is to fund a startup by the end of the year. We'll see. That's I set lofty goals and I do my best to hit them. Year 2, 4 new training classes with a new website for training. So I know there's a lot of cool websites rolling around with training. I'm going to have another one, so woohoo. I'm not shy about it. I'll just say it, right? 2 to 3 new consultants with projects. It's kind of a given. I'm not going to hire a consultant if I don't have a project, so I kind of need a project. Otherwise, they're too expensive. Digital marketing capabilities built out. So I'm really wanting to get into digital marketing. That means we're going to build out a marketing arm. I think that's going to be important. That'll help our entrepreneurs, but ultimately that fits into the overall suite of offerings we offer from a consulting perspective. So it's really it hits on 2 different marks. 1 to 2 startups funded. It's really important. And whether that's me funding that or someone else, and I just help get that ball rolling, that counts. And then kind of we just continue on. The biggest hits on here, you're going to see more training classes, more new staff, complete some digital transformation offerings. Year 3 is kind of a building year for me, is kind of in my mind. Year 2 and year 3, we're not going to do a whole lot of like brand new crazy stuff. Year 4, I really would love to hit a new location. If this model works, I think this is a model that could go to another town similar in size to Bismarck, Mandan, and start doing something for that town in that region. Whether we go north or we go to Billings or we go south, really that's going to be something we'll make the determination then. But I think if this works, this is potentially scalable. So I would like to scale it. I'm going to be real conservative, though, on how quickly we scale. If you haven't figured out, I'm a little conservative on finances. I joke about it, but I really am. Jamie will tell you. So really, by that time, I really want to offer a complete training path. And that's where we take someone all the way through from an entrepreneur that says, hey, I think I have an idea, or hey, I want to figure out this new skill set. I want to have a whole training path for them. And so I've kind of got 2 possibilities, entrepreneurship or DevOps, which is a really hot area in tech that is really hot and will continue to be really hot, but also is we do not have anywhere near enough people out there, resources out there. Part of why consulting for me is fantastic. And then finally, year 5, sales team. I really want to expand our sales team. So year 4, we hire our sales leader. Year 5, is that right? I don't remember. So something like that. Sales team expanded year 5 to cover 1 full region. And so expansion of our service engagements, I'd like to be around 50 a year. That would probably be a $10 to $15 million a year run rate. Expansion of the innovation barn to a larger space, or maybe a second Bismarck location, who knows? And another few startups funded. So that's kind of in a nutshell what we're planning on doing. What can you help me with? Advertising, marketing. I need word of mouth. I need you to tell people about us. If you know anybody in the media, hook me up. Definitely, I'd appreciate that kind of a help. So. We're creating our training courses. I am looking for strategic partners in this, so I'm not looking to be a one-man band. I a little bit of a jest in there earlier, but really I'm not. I would love to partner with. I think there's some really fantastic resources out here. I know that the Women in Business Group or Women Business, WBC. That's right. They've got a fantastic training course. I've talked to some of the library staff. They've got some access to stuff. So honestly, if we can build an ecosystem, bring it to one place and actually be able to deliver it, I think that'll actually, we get real targeted and we actually see, community hopefully grow around this. That would be a success there. Skilled training partners, again, if you've got a skill that you want to train on, that you've got some depth of experience in, talk to me. I'd love to work with you to build out a training class that we could then offer in our shared workspace. So those are 2 major areas. There's probably 100 other minor challenges that I'm facing every which way on this, but those are probably the 2 major ones that I think 1 Million Cups could help me with. So. Last but not least, Innovation Barn. There's my website. You can go sign up for our newsletter there. I just got that done at 4 a.m. this morning. That's the reason I'm a little bit weird this morning. One thing I wanted to mention, we are starting a young professionals group, a Christian men's young professional group out of our group that's grown out of CBMC, which is a Christian business men's group that I'm a part of here in the area. If you're interested, entrepreneurs, this is really tailored towards the entrepreneurs and towards the kind of that early management, middle management kind of area. So we're going to be exposing you to business leaders in the area. We're going to expose you to all sorts of interesting topics that'll help you grow and develop. So if you're at all interested, we've got a meetup coming here soon. You can hit that link. I will stress it is a faith-based thing, so we are not shy about that. Finally, Spark Group. Spark Group. Wrong pointer. So Spark Group, that's our website. It is actually not brand new. That's been around for a while. You can email us, info@sparkgroup.io, if you have any questions. So with that, questions. Absolutely.
All right. Okay, now all those questions you've been thinking about, because you were instructed to do so, now is the time. And Kate's going to be keeping an eye, so if you're watching the live stream on Facebook, you can type your questions into the comments, and Kate will grab those for us as well. So, and we already have a question. Look at this. All right. Gold star. Okay, go ahead.
Awesome. Say, I have a question for you. Do you have a fee schedule for renting out your conference room space or your training room space? Is that on your website? Do we need to reach out to you?
So it is coming very quickly. I've been working very actively the last couple of weeks with Jamie on that. We're probably about a week, maybe 2 at most, out from having that fee schedule out.
Okay,
so
perfect.
If you go onto our website, sign up for information, we will be sending that out pretty quickly. Okay. And that will go up on the website from there.
Second question. Mm-hmm. Do you guys design proprietary software? So if I had a software idea that I wanted to go into development, can you do that?
I will tell you, I have some fantastic people that I know who could help you with that. Okay. I do proprietary software, but not what you're thinking. So from a consulting perspective, most of what we do is really around that automation and that automation world, and so it looks a little different. We definitely create custom solutions for clients, but I do have some fantastic friends who are also in IT consulting here in Bismarck who do just that, and I'd be more than happy to introduce you. Yep.
So on the automation side, are you creating handshakes between different existing platforms and just kind of?
So I'll give you the high-level overview of what we do. So if you can imagine, so on the one hand, the easiest version of automation is if you slide in a server into a rack and you hit the power button and it automatically turns on and it automatically configures itself and turns itself into whatever it needs to be without you having to touch it. That's one part of what we do. The other part of what we do is we actually help developers when they're writing code and they're wanting to get their code out to your app, your mobile device, or wanting to get it on their website, or wanting to get it wherever it needs to go really quickly. And also then spin up those servers and configure them to be able to run that code. That's really the whole ecosystem that we do. So it starts with the developer, it moves all the way through to how that software gets deployed and then out to the world.
A lot of back end sort of stuff. So
the term DevOps actually came out of Toyota. Ironically, they were trying to figure out how to be more efficient in how they manage their car manufacturing process, and so they kind of created this whole process to streamline the whole process from getting the parts in and running it all the way through. Well, what we're doing is we're taking that concept and we're applying it to IT, and so we're taking IT and we're helping the input, which is developers' code, get to the output, which is the consumer, whoever that might be. That might be an internal team, that might be, us on our mobile phones, helping it get out there as quickly as possible. So hopefully and we're talking by quickly, I mean, it used to be it took 6 months, 8 months, a year, 2 years of planning and work to get something out to you. Now they're actually trying to operate on less than a week and potentially even less than a day. If you really get into like a Facebook or Google, they're really trying to get changes out in less than a day. And so that's really what we're enabling.
Okay, thank you. Question?
Awesome. Well, I have 3 questions for you, John. First one is that caffeinated tea?
It is heavily caffeinated tea.
Perfect. Got 4 kids myself, and you need the caffeine, whether tea or
For
coffee.
sure.
Second is with Spark. Your mission is very heavily focused on North Dakota. What percentage of your clients are in North Dakota? And then how have you been able to grow that, and what challenges have you run into?
No, that's a great question. So, and this is where it gets interesting. So, on the consulting side, I'm actually considered primary sector because all of my clients are not in North Dakota. They're actually outside of North Dakota. One of the benefits of this business and the way we're building this business is we're actually catering towards large clients outside of North Dakota primarily. There are some in North Dakota that we'd work with, but generally speaking, the ones who I mentioned earlier want to pay our bills and actually want to do the whole ecosystem of what I talked about are really the larger ones, and they're generally in like the closest one I've got is in Omaha right now, large insurance company. So we're primarily from a consulting perspective outside of North Dakota, which allows me to also connect North Dakota resources to outside of North Dakota, some of those large companies, and bring then financing in from those large companies into North Dakota, which makes it a primary sector. So it's kind of an interesting model, there was a second part of that question.
The second part of the question was, how have you? So as you're moving into the training space, or even
Right.
and a lot of it is just dealing with the openness to innovation within this area, and I'll run into issues in Minneapolis, even in here.
Sure.
The openness to innovation with a lot of the ideas that have really taken hold across the country. We tend to be a second, third, sometimes a fourth wave as things are hitting, and we're getting them years. Some
Right.
cases after they've already taken a hold elsewhere. What have you found? How have you found to overcome some of that hesitancy to adopt that innovation, what you see working elsewhere?
Yeah, I mean, one of my perceived challenges, whether I'm accurate or not, is that in talking with other people around this area, a lot of the conversation about those new ideas and are coming from people who are in the state, hearing about it from outside the state, but maybe not working with it directly. So I think part of this is we're bringing direct experience. So I'm really not shy about the fact I'll hire a consultant from anywhere if they've got the right skills and talents. So I'll hire them from California, I'll hire from Texas, I'll hire them from wherever I need to get them to accomplish a goal for the business from a consulting perspective, but also I'm going to take them and train them or have them build training for our area. So we're bringing, my hope is, right or wrong, my hope is that that'll bring some weight behind the opinions when I'm bringing in resources that are clearly working with lots of different large industries around the U.S. And so my previous client, I'll give you one example. My previous role was with a company called Sirius. I ultimately had built up to an executive leadership role there. And it's not Sirius XM, it's the other Sirius down in Texas, which is just down the road, ironically, from Sirius XM. I don't get it, but anyway, so working with Sirius, I actually had the state of North Dakota as one of my clients for one set of technologies. And the reason they came to us over anyone else, local, was because of the fact we had that background and that experience across so many different industries and verticals and things of that nature. So my hope is that by, yes, we're local, but we're also, our entire client base is not local, so we're outside of, so hopefully we're kind of starting to bring in what is outside into North Dakota, from a trusted perspective because we are North Dakotans. Right.
No, that's that trust, again, your first value. That's huge. Then last question, I'll stop hogging the mic. What did you use a model? Was there any sort of other national model that you used for the innovation barn?
A model?
Or where you've seen it work in other places and so
yeah, no, that's fair. So I had I've traveled to a lot of shared workspaces over the years. And I've seen a lot of them and how they work. I think my model is a little bit unique in that I'm tying it with the consulting. I haven't seen that necessarily happen in a huge way. Saw it lightly happen down in Birmingham, actually, they've got a really cool, I don't know what the right term would be. It's kind of it's a blend of an incubator and a shared workspace. And off the top of my head, I cannot remember what it's called, but Birmingham, Alabama has a really cool place downtown that is all about helping grow and develop that. And so I've looked at their model a bit, but again, with it's not really tying necessarily the consulting. It does try to tie businesses in. So it's a little bit of a blend of all the things I've seen. So
It's the new model.
yeah, I mean,
Joe.
Good morning.
good morning.
Going to put my city commission hat on.
Oh, dang. Let me. Where's the exit door?
No, it's good. I won't hand you
Who
a
invited
technical,
him?
I promise. Being over, city commissioner in Mandan,
Yeah.
we really looking for new cutting edge type of businesses to come into Mandan. And one of the things I think Mandan is really ripe for is being a technology hub for this portion of the state. And it's something that I've been trying to push for and trying to make Mandan as attractive as possible for this type of business. So I appreciate your investment in our community to do that. What kind of interest are you seeing in the services of an innovation barn? Because we were talking about trying to have something similar, whether it was a partnership through my primary employer of Bismarck State College or another group, to have something maybe within the library. There was some talk of that.
Yeah.
So it's great to see the private sector stepping up to do this type of approach. But what kind of interest are you seeing out in the community, whether it's Bismarck, Mandan, or further out, for this type of service through the Innovation Barn?
So the base service, I'm seeing a lot of interest. Whether so I'm already starting to build a wait list on my offices upstairs, as an example. Is somewhat yet to be determined. Having not opened yet and having not, but to some extent, I'm seeing a lot of excitement. I think. So I've worked with a lot of those same circles that you're talking about. I've been a part. I've been over to BSC. I've talked to President Jensen extensively about what all he's working on. I've talked with actually Mandan Library head librarian. I'm going to blank on her name, but Barb, thank you. I had a meeting with her and had a really nice walkthrough. We're working on actually how we could work together because I think there's a lot of synergies there. So from a integration in the community, I think there's a lot of interest, a lot of excitement. I think from a utilization of the services, part of why why I'm throwing some of the base services in, like the mailboxing and the copy printing, I think those are going to be huge up in North Mandan, largely because there's nothing of that nature up there. The closest mailbox services is down on the south side, and printing services, I don't even know that Mandan really has printing services. So that's going to be kind of a unique offering that we can bring to Mandan, and then from that, and then beyond that, hopefully they get interested in the rest of the space as they see it. And a couple of the other things that are leading me into this is, you look at like North Dakota, state of North Dakota IT department, you look at NISC, sorry. You look at some of these other businesses, they're starting to send people home to work. And in the case of North Dakota, state of North Dakota, they're actually sending them home permanently. And the problem is, and we've actually had conversations with state of North Dakota about how we could potentially partner with them and help them provide an option for people to get out of their house. I've been working from home for years, but most people, COVID kind of surprised them and forced them to start working from home. And most of those folks have no good place to work and no good place to think and have that productive space. And so with the growth in North Mandan and with kind of the population that we're seeing going in there, I think that there's a good opportunity for those folks to really connect. So the other, my wife and I are actually kids pastors up at Engage Church right on Old Red Trail. We've done a lot of work understanding that part of the community to kind of understand demographics from a church perspective, but also, we're seeing, I'm seeing that benefit, me as I'm trying to make determinations on what we're placing. So I think there's a lot of pent up interest. Time will tell, when we open in October. I mean, that's going to be a big litmus test, right? The first 3 months or whatever. I mean, the great thing is, though, part of why I've built it the way I've built it is it's entirely self-funded by the consulting services. So if it doesn't take off and do amazing, I can still do the type of services that I want to do there, provide the training, provide all the services through the space. And fund it through through the consulting services. And is it a little bit of a weight on the business? Maybe, but it's worth it in my opinion.
It's pretty smart not to have a burn rate that requires a certain level of
I'm trying.
activity to keep you going. Question in the back.
Yes, I have a question here. You said you really help make things automated and that you do some things on the social media platform like Facebook. Can you kind of expand on that a little bit, please?
Yeah, so most of the automation we do right now is around what I mentioned was DevOps, so that's largely on the consulting services. So when we look at that, we're really looking at the development, so developers and IT segments right at this moment. My intention, though, is to expand that in the marketing world as well pretty extensively. So my hope is that by the end of this year, might be Q1 next year, is to hire a marketing lead to actually start building out what we would view as a full digital transformation suite. So it kind of incorporates the tech that we're talking about, but really also builds out marketing plans on top of that. And so we've done quite a bit. This year was an interesting year. I actually worked with two key campaigns to get two key, one House campaign and one Senate campaign for North Dakota, and did a lot of marketing through social media, Facebook, Instagram, grew a really nice following there. One of them was Keith Boehm. He's actually my father-in-law, so woohoo. Keith Boehm on District 33, and then I also have Mike Matzenbacher where I live. So I worked with both of them. Both are going in. So not really to tout anything there outside of to say I've started to build an understanding of what, I've worked with marketing for years. I've started to build an understanding of some of the local needs through some of that as I've talked with them, as I've talked with others around those campaigns. So all that being said, my goal is in the next 6 months to really have a true marketing offering where local people, and that would have a direct impact from a services perspective on local.
I've got a quick question on, training plays a pretty big component in your future plans. You talk about also hiring and working with consultants from all over the place. What percentage of this training is going to be virtual, do you see? How much of it's going to take place in the room in the barn?
That's a good question. That one is a little bit shorter answer. I've had Caleb, he started building out our first training offering, and the way I had him build it, it's going to be built around a virtual style training that we can offer on-prem. So Caleb being the consultant who built the JavaScript course, it's going to go up through a virtual portal. But then if we wanted to offer it on-prem, we can take all of those, we're designing it in such a way we can take them all and bring it into really what feels like an on-prem, an in-classroom type training.
Good.
So.
Shania.
Okay, I'm going to come uncork now because I've got one comment and two questions because I'm just going crazy over here.
Yeah.
First comment, wow. I mean, when I read your description, I had no idea. I mean, I thought it was pretty cool, but
Thanks.
That you're taking these funds from these very large companies that you have these beautiful relationships with and doing the consulting out there, but taking that money and investing it locally to help lift us up. Holy cow, thank you so much. Because you could have just taken the money and run. Seriously, guys.
Thanks.
Oh my gosh, I'm just like so humbled. That's fantastic. Now I have legit questions.
Sure.
One, you seem to have really neat rapport with your team members over here. So I'd love to know how you all came together, how you found them, because you seem to be amazing together. And then the second is, please tell me where the name Innovation Barn came from, because the dissonance of the two words just, I love it, right? It just hooked me, right, Kayla? Don't you just love? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so Caleb I've known since you were in junior high school, back when we lived here. So before we moved to Alabama, we lived here and for about a year and a half, and we were kids pastors again at the same church, and Caleb was one of our awesome kids in our youth group. He's turned into a really fantastic guy. He was a little squirrely back then, but fantastic guy now. So I've known Caleb for a long time, and when I found out what he was doing from a tech perspective, I'll be honest, there's very few people I know that are really as passionate about building out a skill set in tech that he's doing. So we got to talking. Jamie, to be honest, I put the ad out on a lot of the major sites, and I don't remember exactly which one she came through, but ultimately I found her through an interview process, kind of more of a traditional interview process, and man, I'm glad I picked her over anyone else. So she's awesome. As to your second question, which was Innovation Barn name, yeah. There is this interesting synergy here in North Dakota that I've seen firsthand with my wife, of people coming from small town, small community, farm life, things of that nature, coming into Mandan, into Bismarck, and starting to, off of the farm, right? Yeah. My wife is one of 8 kids. She's not going to live on the farm forever. She's going to be married to me, a tech guy in town. So, I've seen that transition happen a lot. And so as we were trying to brainstorm what the fit to the culture here was, and what the fit to us was, we came up with this barn idea. And honestly, it came out of a Chamber of Commerce meeting I went to. The barn idea came out, and so I talked about the building we purchased to put this in, and a whole bunch of people were like, "Oh, that barn-looking place." Oh, okay, I could dig that. Sure, and then we just played around with that from there, and came up with Innovation Barn. So it was. I feel it's very fitting, though. I agree. It's a fitting thing for our area.
Some horses and chickens, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Hold the chicken.
So it would seem to me, you're talking about supporting entrepreneurs, startups with real tech people, and so maybe the challenges around finding solid tech resources that also kind of have those people skills to do the training. And I've worked with a lot of technical people, and that's not always a combination that's easy to find.
It is a tough combination to find. I thankfully learned that the hard way back in consulting. Consultants have to have a training mentality and have to have a good people skill in general. They, especially in the industries I serve, they really have to walk in and be able to, warm up a room and, not just speak to the tech guy in the room, but also speak to his manager or, his manager's manager. And so, I've had to hire those folks quite a bit, and that's helped me find those people and identify the key skills that are necessary. So it is tough, but they're definitely out there, and there's some pretty fantastic ones out there.
Yeah.
I've worked with a lot of them. Yeah.
Well, all right. I think we are to that point of the morning. You've already touched on this a little bit. We're going to have Janya ask the last question anyway, in case something else has occurred to you.
Yep, I agree. You already touched on it, so you got to dig deep for this one. So what can we do collectively as the 1 Million Cups BizMan community? How can we help you succeed? Because we really want you to succeed.
I appreciate that. Yeah. I did mention those, so I'll hit on those real quick. Advertising, marketing, that's going to be big. I need all of you to come to our place. I mean, I'll shamelessly plug that. So if you guys need a place to work, look us up. If you want training, let us know. I'm interested in knowing what kind of training you're interested in. I'm pretty, I'm not tied to tech. Tech is a portion of it. But I do expect to have some of the other pieces of, entrepreneurship, finance, business finance, a bunch of other areas. So training room's open. I would love to use it a lot, and I would love to see a lot of people through there. So if you guys have ideas on things you'd like to see, please let me know. One of the challenges I alluded to in one of my answers also was that we're still working out identifying our price sheets. If you have any thoughts on what you'd pay for some of these services, let me know. The reality is there is Juniper Work and Tile here in town, but our models are quite a bit different, and the offerings we have are quite a bit different. And so when we look at the offerings that we're going to have compared to what are offered there, it is a little different, and so our pricing models look a little different. So we're trying to figure that out. So if you have any thoughts on those, those are all areas I would definitely appreciate help with.
Cool. Thank you. Let's give it up for Jonathan. Thank you. All right. So we've got Fit for Victory next week. The following week, we got the Innovation School here, talk about what they're doing. And then United Tribes Technical College will be here on the 24th. Hope to see you all here. Apply to present. Yes. So if anybody you're going to meet later this afternoon would like to join us on stage here, please get an application. It's very easy to do. 1millioncubs.com/bizman. It's a couple questions, comes to us, we look at it, we work with you, we make it easy. Pretty easy?
It was terrifying. No, it's all good.
We didn't rehearse
No, it
that.
was fun.
So please do that. We'd love to get you up here. And with that, thank you all for being here this morning, for spending your morning with us. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Take